On July 26th, a precision Himars strike by Ukrainian forces targeted a Russian military logistics base near the village of Belovskoye in Russia's Belgorod region. According to Russian sources familiar with the incident, the attack killed around 15 Russian soldiers and destroyed several pieces of equipment. The strike reportedly hit a concentration of personnel and material, suggesting Ukrainian intelligence had accurate targeting data. In the aftermath, Russian forces were forced to relocate the base, another sign that Ukrainian long-range capabilities continue to disrupt logistics deep behind the border. While Russian authorities remain silent, the effectiveness of the strike speaks volumes. Russian soldiers fighting in Ukraine have to supply almost all of their own equipment, including drones, either at their own expense or through volunteer donations. A commentary on the state of logistics in an elite airborne forces unit depicts a dire situation. Russian war blogger Sviatoslav Golikov has published an account from an airborne forces soldier of the logistical situation in his unit. While he doesn't explain why things are so bad, it's likely a combination of the exhaustion of Soviet-era stocks, bureaucracy, and corruption. Light vehicles. The company has 2 UAZ Lofs UAZ-452 and 1 UAZ Patriot. Neither the Ministry of Defense nor the state provided any of the above. They were purchased by the company's personnel at their own expense or received from humanitarian workers. Spare parts, fuel, lubricants, and tires are also paid for out of their own pockets. Due to the latest idiotic requirements and restrictions on movement in rear areas for vehicles without military number plates, it was decided to register one Bukhanka with the military and add it to the unit's balance sheet in order to obtain the coveted black number plates. The process is not quick, especially considering the factor of the perpetually drunk soldier. There is also a buggy. It was custom-made, paid for with the soldier's personal funds. All the accompanying equipment is also on the shoulders of the Common Fund, a shared fund to which all unit members are expected to contribute, which if they're lucky will not be stolen by their commanders. Small-wheeled transport, mopeds, dirt bikes, ATVs, electric scooters. 3 ATVs, there were 5, 2 were lost in battle. 6 bikes, there were 9, 3 destroyed. A couple of mopeds, and several scooters. None of the above was provided by the Ministry of Defense or the state. 90% of the listed equipment was provided to the company by humanitarian workers and volunteers, some of it purchased with their own money. Gasoline, spare parts, rubber, and lubricants are also purchased at their own expense. Generators, the company already has more than 20 of them. They are scattered among the rear positions, whose life support they provide. From 5 to 10 new generators are put into operation per year. The old ones wear out in combat conditions, undergoing 1 to 2 major repairs along the way. Over the past 2 years, not a single generator has been allocated from the Ministry of Defense or the state. 90% are provided at the expense of volunteers and humanitarian workers. 10% at our own expense. Gasoline, spare parts, lubricants, at our own expense. Low-quality diesel fuel from the Ministry of Defense. Well, thanks for that. Mavic reconnaissance drones. Nothing from the Ministry of Defense or the state. 10 to 20% from funds and humanitarian workers, the rest at our own expense, including extra batteries, components, incubators, remote controls, and blah, blah, blah. But the Ministry of Defense, represented by local bosses, regularly asks for the necessary availability, timely flights, and, God forbid, losses. Surrealism. It's a complete contradiction to the Charter of Military Service, in which the primary priority is provision and only then the setting of tasks and requirements for their fulfillment. Body armor, uniform, footwear, gas masks, and other ammunition. What is issued is junk and crap that cannot withstand any criticism and breaks down at the training ground stage. Some things are not issued at all. Gas masks, for example. I don't know what this is connected with. They simply don't exist. In the end, they got it through humanitarians who found whole boxes of old Gordons and elephants from emergency storage somewhere, and were happy with that. As a result, each soldier has his own 2 or 3 sets of summer and winter uniforms, his own body armor, his own helmet, his own modifications for weapons, his own footwear. Communication. Normal communications. Lyra, tight, combat, and any-tone radio handsets, repeaters for them, for high and low frequencies, cables, resonant antennas, fittings, etc., at your own expense or by sponsors and volunteers. What did the Ministry of Defense give? Azart, some amount of kerosene, but even in this case, the signalmen provide all the necessary equipment themselves. Starlink. I don't think there's any point in continuing. Subscription fees for all sets, and there are more than one and not even 5, come out of the same pocket. FPV component. On this issue, the situation is similar to most others. Something is provided but in catastrophically small quantities and of low quality, so during the preparation process, it is finished in our own laboratories at our own expense. All consumables, screws, motors, controllers, batteries, cameras, etc., are purchased at our own expense or with the help of humanitarian aid workers. Glasses, laptops, 3D printers, plastic for them, remote controls, at our own expense. Navigational devices will be provided for the first set, but additional ones or replacements for destroyed ones will be at your own expense. Office equipment. Everything at your own expense or at the expense of volunteers. Absolutely everything. Printers, ink, cartridges, and their repair/refilling, paper, laptops, monitors, video surveillance, televisions, laminators, etc. Stationery is the same. Electronic warfare equipment, what was issued is either outdated or has become unusable. It was issued in small quantities based on the number of devices with black military numbers. For all transport from the above point, all electronic warfare equipment is either paid for out of pocket or through collections. All drone detectors were purchased with our own money or received from humanitarian workers. Medicine, what is issued from warehouses, including new replenishment, tear off and throw away. Everything that is high quality and working comes from your own pocket and the usual "Doctors, you are not alone" Telegram channel. Food, stewed meat, sprouted frozen potatoes, shit cheese, and palm oil in abundance. Carrots, beets, cabbage, and onions come in such a meager quantity that there is no desire to even discuss them. Juice, real nitrates. Cupcakes, bagels, cookies, utter shit from recycled materials. Meat, beef tendons. The quantity also makes you laugh through tears. A normal male body in war conditions will quickly rot from the current army rations. Everything necessary and required is purchased with your own money. The Ministry of Defense can only send dry rations. They will do in a famine. Vitamins? Haha. Everyone buys all the vitamin complexes themselves. The market price is high, but you can't do without them. In short, it's something like that. It's the 4th year of the war. At the same time, every appliance is broadcasting about a coming major conflict with NATO. What is being reported to the Supreme Putin and other leaders is unknown to us. View of the burning oil depot in Sochi from a passenger plane window.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.